welcome to North American Ag Spotlight. I'm Chrissy Wozniak. Today we're going to be talking about a cornerstone of Arizona's agriculture heritage, a beloved event that has been bringing families and exhibitors together since the late 1940s. This iconic livestock show isn't just about the animals, it's about preserving a Western way of life, fostering youth development and showcasing the very best of agriculture in the Southwest. From public speaking contests and junior livestock judging to farm experience and ranch rodeo, it's an event that seamlessly blends tradition and innovation. At the helm of it all is a passionate leader who is not only dedicated to growing the show, but also to raising his own family in the Western lifestyle. Joining us today is Tyler Grandil, Executive Director of the Arizona National Livestock Show. Welcome, Tyler, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I also want to add that this is today's a special episode for another reason. This episode marks the 200th podcast episode of North American Ag Spotlight. So I just want to thank all the listeners, sponsors, and partners that have made this possible. So thank you all. So Tyler, let's start with your background for those of you who don't know you.
Sure. Yeah, I was raised in Mesa, Arizona, in the middle of the city, really not with very much agriculture background. My older brother got involved in FFA and started showing livestock, and I was a shirt tail little brother and always wanted to do what he did. And so that's really the beginning of it. And in doing so, I really found a passion for showing livestock and showed it for several years as a youth. And then I moved on to some other aspects of my life. Raised a family, am raised in a family here in Gilbert. And in 2016, this opportunity came open, and I thought, oh man, that sounds like a dream job to me, and it really has been. It's been a wonderful opportunity for me to come back to livestock showing. I actually showed here as a youth. My first experience here was watching my brother in a calf scramble, and he had to catch a range calf and then halter it and bring it back across the line. And in doing so, yeah, in doing so, he got to have that calf and to raise it for the next year. So that was my first experience here. So I think it's kind of it's fitting that I get to come back as an adult now and continue that legacy of running the livestock show. So it's really a pleasure.
Amazing. And so what makes the Arizona National Livestock Show unique compared to other livestock events across the country?
Well, we really pride ourselves in being exhibitor centric. We put the exhibitor at the forefront of everything that we do and say we want to make the exhibitor the hero, so to speak. And so in all of our efforts here during the show and in all of our marketing efforts, we really want to emphasize that's what's most important to us. And we want them to feel that when they come here. And even though the show is relatively a short show, we get the feedback from the exhibitors of how much they feel that they enjoy being here. It is a relaxed atmosphere. It's very much a family oriented, which I think is what livestock shows in part are about, is about families, raising families, and having that connection with other people. And so we really are proud to be a part of that for them.
Amazing. And so it must be different balancing traditions and then also highlighting innovation on a growing show every year. So how do you maintain that balance?
Very carefully. It's difficult sometimes. We especially with us, a lot of us being native Arizonans and this show having such a deep root in Arizona, we want to maintain not only the Arizona feel but also be welcoming to the country, and as well as traditional aspects of showing livestock and agriculture, but also embracing the future. It is something that we put a lot of time and effort into, and I think it's always a balancing and rebalancing act to make sure that we don't lose those old ways, but we look forward to the new. So we've tried to embrace some new technologies and new methods of evaluating. We've brought some interaction to the show through video games, farming simulator, that kind of thing, a video contest to try to embrace folks that are on social media a little bit more. So things like that, I think hit a broader audience. But at the same time, we really want to lean into some of the best traditions of evaluating livestock, which is really what we're about. We maintain a high level of integrity when it comes to the process that we do that we employ here, because we think that that's the way that it should be done. We show a lot of respect for the animals that are brought here and shown here. We understand that they have a purpose and a role in the food chain, but we take our responsibility as stewards very seriously. So it definitely is a balancing act that we try to do carefully.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. That's so well put. I know in, today's climate where people are so far removed from the farm, it's really important to maintain that the food cycle, right? And I'm sure it gets harder and harder every year. Do you have uh, issues at the show? I know a lot of shows have been very on the offense in preparing youth, especially, through 4-H on how to deal with animal activists, things like that. Have you had to address any of that, or are you still safe out here in the West?
I don't think anybody's safe when it comes to that. I think you
Yeah.
always have to be you have to be aware of your surroundings, and really a lot of this stems from people not understanding. Obviously, as we get farther removed as a society from production agriculture, people that understanding of how things are done leaves us. Or leaves society. So our responsibility is always there. I don't ever want to feel safe. Fortunately, knock on wood, we've not had any instance here. But to answer your question, we take education about agriculture very seriously. We have a responsibility here at this show to make sure that we are employing versions of education throughout everything that we do, not just putting on a livestock show. And so we definitely do that. And so in doing that and having those conversations, I think we're playing a part in helping our exhibitors be better prepared to communicate what it is that we do. And really, I'm more of a fan of marketing than I am education, even though we use those interchangeably sometimes. I think that agriculture is not unlike any other industry, in that we need to be good at marketing what we do and why we do it and why it's ultimately good for consumers, which is really what marketing is. It's selling, advertising, that type of thing. And when we approach it with that mindset, I think it changes the way we do things. And we are less intrinsic and focused just about us and the blue ribbon or whatever, but we're more about, hey, we're a part of a bigger system here of production agriculture, and we need to treat it that way in everything that we do.
Great points. Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. So the Arizona National Livestock Show has awarded over 1.2 million in scholarships. So why is supporting education and youth so important to this organization?
Well, I think it's a natural outgrowth of what we do. We are all about exhibitors. We're all about youth here, and obviously our primary purpose is to put on a high quality livestock show and a good experience for families. But I think we'd be remiss if we weren't looking into the future. And so we developed a scholarship program about 35 years ago, and we're really proud of that. We give healthy scholarships to students that are going on to college, and we've been amazed at the feedback we get from these students, and really heartfelt comments back that I wouldn't have been able to go to college without this money. Those types of comments coming back really reinforce the effort and the mission of the scholarship program. And I'm really proud to say that our money, the scholarship money, has made its way to the 35 different states, universities in 35 different states across the country. And so we're not just supporting Arizona youth, even though, as a native Arizonan, I have a hard time, getting away from that. But we support youth from all over the country, and so we're really proud of that.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And at the end of the day, the show's over. What do you hope that young exhibitors take away from participating in the show?
Well, I think at the heart of what we're doing is helping families to raise their children. And so, what I'm hoping young people walk away with is a sense of accomplishment, a sense of pride in what they're doing. My hope is that they have an intrinsic confidence in what they do. So certainly we give buckles and banners and that kind of stuff, the physical, tangible thing. But I think much more important than that is the self-satisfaction that I did a good job, and that because that's what's going to carry with you into your future life. You're not always going to be able to get the buckle, the banner, or even the pat on the back. Sometimes you have to have that reassurance and that confidence developed inside of you from the job that you did. So that self-evaluation, if we can get that done in the minds of these young people, then I think it's been a good day.
Yeah, that's excellent. Excellent mission. And what would you say to youth who are thinking about going into the industry, uh, and a job like you have isn't something a guidance counselor would say, right? The same with the job I have would never pinhole this career. But that's the great thing about agriculture. There's so many areas you can go into. So what would you say to youth that see you and go, wow, that's what I want to do. I want to help kids. I want to run this national show. What would you say to them?
Well, I think the first thing encourage them to do is look for opportunities to intern at different shows. I know there are a lot of different shows that do that. We do that here. We'll have over 50 different interns on site, and those are different colleges across the country to help us with our media, will help us run the shows, to help us with our animal welfare. And what we're providing for those students is the opportunity to get a taste of it and a little bit of an experience of what the livestock show is about on the administrative side or on the marketing side or what have you. And so when they get that, then they can figure out if that's something that they really want to do. And I think that's really what internships are all about. So someone who thinks that they might want to go into this industry because they've shown livestock, I think the next step would be to help put one on in an intern capacity.
Great advice. And so, what are the dates of the show?
So we start the show on the 27th, and we started with our stock dog trial. So we'll have cattle dogs and sheep dogs going on the 27th, 28th. That's also the same day that we'll move in for the main part of the livestock show. So they'll be moving in at the same time. We start our actual livestock shows on the 29th and run through the 31st, and then we're done. We're out of here. Very quick turnaround.
Wow. Amazing. And that's got to be a great place when you're off with your kids between the holidays. Is that generally what people look forward to? Is that an Arizona thing? Like we got to go to the fair in between?
It is. It's amazing. We especially when we have states coming from all the way across from the East Coast. This year we'll have some exhibitors coming from Florida. So
Nice.
they have to leave many times, if not Christmas night, definitely the next day. But we hear repeatedly from folks that say, that this is just what we do. Christmas is Arizona National, and I love that. I love hearing that, and I love that that's a part of their traditions. And a lot of these folks obviously are coming from colder weather, and I think we're looking forward to some really nice weather for our show, and that's really unique for them as well. Being able to show cattle outside in the winter is something that you don't hear about from someone who's in Oklahoma or Iowa. So those traditions that they're building with us, again, just goes back to the family aspect, the family nature of what we're doing here.
Right. Yeah, that's great. And I can speak to that. I'm in Yuma, Arizona this week, working with some farmers and on some content building. The weather has just been so amazing. The most beautiful sunsets, the most beautiful days. And I spent last week in Michigan. So it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference. So yeah, I can see, you could probably harvest some more exhibitors from the north just so they can get out.
We'll take them.
Yeah. So on a broader topic of agriculture, what do you see as kind of the biggest opportunities and challenges facing the livestock industry today?
Well, I think when you think of it from a production aspect, affordability is got to be at the top there. Making sure that we are able to produce a food supply that's ultimately affordable for the consumer, which is obviously it's big on everyone's minds right now. So that's a role that we play. It's difficult for agriculture because they tend to be price takers, not price makers, and so but still efficiencies can factor into that, and if that can, then they can stay in business longer and ultimately help create that atmosphere. I think we have a responsibility to produce safe and affordable food to the American public. So I think that's our first responsibility there, and I think beyond that, making sure that that we're continuing the base of agriculture in America, and make sure that we have folks that are continuing to go back into the industry We have an aging population when it comes to agriculture, and so making sure that young people look at that as a future career, I think, is another responsibility and a challenge for us.
Great. And what would be your advice to the American producer through 2025 and beyond?
Oh, I don't know that I'm qualified to give that advice, but I would like to thank them. Number one, I sincerely would like to thank producers that for what they do. I know that they are involved in an industry that can be very volatile at times when it comes to prices, and they have really good years and really, really bad years. And so I can only imagine what it's like to be in that world. And I don't know that I have advice other than to just, keep to it, stick with it, because we need you.
Yeah, for sure. And so where can people find out more information about the show?
So our website is aznational.org, and our schedule's on there and more information about what we do. We're also active on social media, Arizona National Livestock Show. And of course, you can always call us. We get tons of calls this time of year. Happy to field those calls as well.
Awesome. And I have one last question for you.
Sure.
In your role in your life, what is the thing you're most passionate about in this? And so, what keeps you going, and what wakes you up in the morning with joy?
Well, what the thing I'm most passionate about is my family, and
Yeah.
and raising kids and being a good husband, and trying to be there for them. I love my job. I love what I do. It's very exciting and engaging. But at the end of the day, I do it for the sole purpose of providing for them and being good for them. So that's what really wakes me up in the morning. I want to be good at what I do so that I can be good for them.
Well, that's wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tyler, for joining me today. Great to learn a little bit about this fair, and I hope you have a great year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And thanks to all who are watching or listening. If you want to learn more, the links are provided in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe to North American Ag Spotlight on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Listen Notes. If you prefer video, you can find us on Rumble or Telegram channels or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you like the episode, I would love it if you shared it. And have a great day.